Tell us about yours.
I was injured in 1995 due to a spinal cord injury.
Okay.
I was at the beach actually, and it was a history 98-degree day. So me, my brother, and a couple of friends decided to go to the beach, and we were enjoying the day, and we were about to head home. So I was gonna go in for one last dip and jumped in and happened to break my neck. Fast forward a few years, I went to school and got my degree, and I found myself in a really dark place.
Sure.
And the place I turned to was the organization. And this was roughly 6 years, 6 or 7 years ago. I attended that meeting and I met my mentors, George Diego, Dan Trent, even Debbie Cody, which you spoke with. They saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself. And a year later, after attending that meeting, I happened to be asked to join our national organization, which is United Spinal Association proper, to go to Washington, D.C. and represent not only myself, but many or all disabilities at a federal level and fight for our rights, for proper wheelchairs or um, just being recognized as promoters with disabilities within the United States. I have been doing that for the last 3 years. I missed 1 year, but I've gone to class. And now on a local level, I've been in many, I've been to many politicians' offices. I was recently at Representative Rice's office asking her not to support HR 620, which unfortunately she did. It's the ADA Reform in Education,
Right.
which would limit the way individuals with disabilities would gain access to
All right. Okay.
Could you elaborate on that, Jose?
So it would allow a business owner who is supposed to make their place accessible and give them
Okay, I'll take care of it.
180 days. Well, first they have to serve them notice. Then they would have 120 days now, the way it lower to make significant changes. So the dangerous part is the given notice. A business would not be required to make any changes until given notice. So given that the ADA was passed in 1992, they've
1990.
had close to 28 years to get things right and make things accessible. They're not doing it. So now you're going to give them a pass by making it so that the individual with disability would have to contact a lawyer, get a formal letter written stating the violation, and then you're going to give the business owner 120 days to make significant changes. But I think there is another component where I think you have 60 days to respond, and then another 120 days to make significant progress. So that's a half a year before anything gets changed.
Now, where are we with the law at this point? Um,
With that particular law,
yeah.
it was passed in the House, and we've been fighting and making sure that uh, one doesn't get even created in the Senate.
And how can that be?
So
How could that be ensured by our viewers? What should
you
they
can
do?
contact your senators and let them know that this is not the right way to do things, and pledge not to create or support a bill anything that would limit the rights of individuals with disabilities. There's actually a letter floating around, and I think 38 of the 50 senators signed on.
I would like to see a copy of that letter. I'd like to put it on my social media. Um,
I will get it to you as soon as I get it,
Because I think
I'll find it.
I think a lot of our viewers would certainly call in or support this view if they were cognizant of the letter and of the logistics of the call and the number. A lot of times what happens is people say, I feel the same way, but they don't have the number or they don't have the letter in front of us. So maybe in a follow-up conversation, we can provide that information either on our social media page or in a follow-up conversation on the radio in a couple weeks or a month from now.
Absolutely.
So tell us why people should.
You know, and I will get you the information.
Absolutely.
It was, the law that passed in the House was kind of disheartening and scary, especially with it, because we've waited long enough to be productive and independent and be able to enjoy life the way everyone else does.
Well,
and knowing that someone from New York supported that bill, I was shocked. I've gone to her office, Congresswoman Rice's office, 3 or 4 times, trying to explain to her why this isn't the right way. And as an attorney, she should have known better. And in knowing that this law was going to be used as a loophole for businesses to ignore Title III of the ABA.
Well, I think from what I know is it takes a little bit of the teeth out of the bill in terms of power to rectify things. And I think that happened with Section 503 too. But what happens is your eyes can gloss over if you're not familiar with Section 503 or the ADA or Americans with Disabilities Act. So I think one of my challenges in this show, because it's an inaugural edition, is we're going to have to bring this down and maybe even in this first inaugural show, designate the rest of the show, which is only a couple minutes, to maybe a very basic discussion between you and I, Jose, over the air of what is the Americans with Disabilities Act and why is it important? And I'm going to pose that question to you, although I could certainly answer that question as well.
Okay, the Americans with Disabilities Act was created to ensure that individuals with all types of disabilities can live their lives the same way as able-bodied individuals. Kind of like the civil rights laws against, discrimination.
Yep.
It's the same as the Americans with Disabilities Act. We have the right to go into an establishment just like everyone else. We don't have to use the back door. We should have access to the restroom, no matter what our disability, if we use a mobility device or are visually impaired. There should be braille for someone or large access area for the bathroom. As far as entering a business, you should have access to every single business. If you're a public entity and you provide public services, if you service someone with an able body, you should be able to service someone with a disability the same way, no matter what the disability. So the ADA ensures that.
And isn't it true, Jose, that most accommodations are so reasonable that they cost less than $500 in the workplace?
It could be as simple as putting in a ramp on a 5-inch curb step in front of your business. There was a organization here in Brooklyn that created a one-step campaign where they went across Brooklyn and spoke to businesses and said, all you need is a $400 ramp, aluminum ramp at that.
Right.
And that can allow an individual with a disability access to your business. I came across that not too long ago where a restaurant had a 6-inch step, and I was ready just to go to a different restaurant. But my girlfriend decided to ask if they had a ramp available, and sure enough, there was a ramp, and the food was delicious.
Excellent. Jose, we have a little over 2 minutes. I want you to give us your best sell for why people should get involved in those 2 minutes in United Spinal Association, either as volunteers, interns, donors, staff members, your choice. You have about 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay. As we speak, there are individuals with disabilities sitting at home doing nothing with their lives when they have the ability to become productive members of society, given a little bit of help. The reason I know this is because I was one of them. So your membership and your donation and your volunteership to United Spinal's New York chapter gives us the ability to help one more person. There is no reason why an individual with a disability should be suffering when help is out there, and NYC Spinal just wants to help.
And I would conclude that statement by saying that all human beings are of comparable value, and those of us with disabilities should not be left behind. Jose, it's been an honor having you on our first show. And Mary, I'd like to say to you, thank you for Facebook Living me. And also, Mary, I'd like to thank you for being such a wonderful member of the Universal Abilities student body. You've really taught us all a few things with all the wonderful additions you've provided our school. Universal Abilities happens to be a school that focuses on helping people with disabilities become entrepreneurs and think entrepreneurially. We think very highly of organizations like United Spinal Association, and we thank you, Jose, for the wonderful work you do at United Spinal Association. We urge all our listeners to donate time, resources, votes, other concerns and resources to United Spinal Association. This is a wonderful organization that donates 100% of its resources to its cause, and I couldn't support this organization anymore. And Jose, it's been an honor having you on our first show.
Yes, Jose, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be winding down. We have exactly a minute allotted to us. And Mary, any closing comments?